Complaining about AJ taking that fight. Obviously, it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Do you see something wrong with AJ taking that fight?
This is just a lot of money. It's just a show.
Right.
This is not interesting sport because, guys, brothers, Anthony, it's Olympic champion.
Right.
Jake, it's just sportsman. Yeah, YouTuber. Jake do a lot of work.
Right.
Special coach, special food, a lot of exercise new.
Yes.
But this is guy don't have a mother fights.
Right.
Never.
Right.
A mother fights. Maybe them wrestling now professional, but Joshua, Anthony Joshua, it's Olympic champion.
So how long does that fight last?
Listen, my opinion, it's 1 round because Anthony twice. My fight twice. Jab.
Very hard.
Yeah, look. You know, this is.
And still from his fight.
This jab.
Listen, whatever you were doing before clicking this video, forget it. Because the clip you're about to hear has boxing fans, retired champions, and even that one uncle who only watches big fights screaming louder than Jake Paul selling his next pay-per-view. This new leak, and yes, I said, leak, has some of the biggest boxing legends breaking their silence about the most disrespectful, unbelievable, who approved this crossover. Showdown the internet has ever conjured up. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. I'm not exaggerating when I say this prediction scandal makes the Kardashians. Holiday drama look like a group hug. These boxing icons didn't just drop opinions. They unloaded verbal uppercuts so wild that even Joshua's sparring partners needed emotional support. And Jake? Oh, Jake's name is being tossed around with the same energy people use when complaining about gas prices: loud, chaotic, and slightly painful. But here's the twist nobody was ready for. Some legends are actually backing Jake Paul. I know. Breathe. Because whatever sanity you had left might fly out the window when you hear why. So buckle up. Because this isn't commentary. This is a sporting conspiracy wrapped in pure insanity. And trust me, you won't survive missing a second of this. The moment those predictions leaked, the entire combat sports universe short-circuited like someone had unplugged reality and plugged in pure nonsense. Boxing purists were clutching their pearls. UFC fans were eating popcorn like it was a season finale. And influencers were already drafting fake motivational quotes to slide into the chaos. But the real explosion came when old-school legends, sexual love famers with resumes longer than Jake Paul's apology list started, dropping comments that sounded like spiritual prophecies mixed with locker room gossip. Some of these icons stared at the footage, like they were witnessing a glitch in the simulation. Their first reaction wasn't shakit, was confusion. The same kind of confusion you get when your younger cousin tries to convince you that TikTok dances should qualify as cardio. One of them literally said, Jake Paul has something. Now what that something is, nobody agreed on. Some say power, some say money magic. And one legend, who's clearly done with humanity, said Jake has unshakable delusion disguised as confidence, which honestly might be his real superpower. The drama got even thicker when a leaked private roundtable surfaced. Yes, an actual discussion from behind closed doors where legends gave brutally honest takes. One claimed Joshua's size advantage makes this fight a man versus Smith situation, suggesting Jake Paul is basically walking into a real-life Titan battle armed with nothing but YouTuber plot armor. Another countered, saying Joshua's downfall is the fact that he overthinks, while Jake doesn't think at all. According to him, a man with nothing on his mind is dangerous. And suddenly, Jake's entire career started to make a weird kind of sense while fans were busy choosing sides. Like it was the Avengers split all over again. The legends doubled down with even more heat. Some argued Joshua's polished technique would dissect Jake like an overdue science project waiting on the teacher's desk. Others claimed Jake has something Joshua doesn't, a fresh mindset untouched by decade-long boxing trauma. And honestly, they weren't wrong. Joshua has been through wars, while Jake enters every fight like a man who's biggest. Enemy is Twitter comments, but the most heated moment came when one legend said Jake Paul could shock the world because the world is already halfway shocked from watching him sleep elite MMA champions. That line alone sent boxing tradition crashing into a burning dumpster, and people have not stopped screaming since. It's the kind of prediction that makes you question whether these legends are being serious, or if they're trying to unlock new levels of internet chaos for fun. As these reactions spread, the internet turned into a live battleground. Memes popped up faster than Jake's new hairstyles, showing him standing next to Joshua with captions like, "When you accidentally sign up for a boss fight, others compared Joshua to a Greek statue and Jake to someone doing a YMCA warm-up." Yet somehow, through all the jokes, a strange tension built because even the people laughing knew Jake Paul has the weirdest ability ever, making impossible moments feel slightly possible, and behind the scenes, more details kept pouring in. One audio clip revealed a legend saying Joshua's weakness is emotional hesitation, while Jake's weakness is believing his own hype too much. But then he added, "Sometimes hype is enough to create momentum." Suddenly, Jake Paul's whole career trajectory started giving motivational speaker energy. This man literally turned trolling into titles, and legends couldn't decide whether to admire it or fear it. Another legend chimed in with a wild take. He claimed if Jake lands first, Joshua will panic because he won't want the embarrassment. That statement practically detonated the internet. People were posting reaction videos, voice notes, long rants, and spiritual analysis like Joshua was entering a therapy session instead of a boxing match. But hey, this is the era where influencers are sparring with world champions, so anything goes. Meanwhile, insiders reported Joshua was unfazed, but also not impressed. One source said Joshua views Jake like a man who hasn't learned enough to know what he should fear, which might be the nicest and meanest line at the same time. It's like saying Jake Paul is dangerous specifically because he has no idea what danger truly is. The legends weren't done stirring the pot. Another one said that Jake has something Joshua never had during his rise: total creative freedom. He called Jake a fighter with nothing to lose and everything to prove. The most unpredictable kind of challenger. That line alone made fans rethink the entire matchup, because unpredictability has been Jake's signature move since day one. He's not the best boxer, but he's definitely the most surprising. A different legend directly contradicted that take by claiming, Joshua's experience would smother Jake like a heavyweight blanket. He painted a brutal picture of what he believed would happen. One round. That's all it takes. When the first clean punch lands, the influencer era ends. It was such a dramatic statement that fans started clipping it with cinematic music, turning boxing predictions into movie trailers. The more these interviews and leaks spread, the more the tension escalated. Fans weren't watching a fight announcement, they were watching a cultural collision. It was old-school boxing honor versus modern digital chaos. It was discipline versus disruption. It was tradition versus a man who built a fan base by pranking his own brother on YouTube. Legends disagreed, analysts disagreed, and the internet decided this was the greatest entertainment crossover since Marvel fought Thanos. Then came the wildest twist. A leaked message from a former champion predicting that Jake Paul's mental warfare would be his biggest weapon. He claimed Jake's ability to annoy opponents is actually strategic. He even compared Jake's trolling to psychological warfare, saying Joshua might underestimate the impact of constant public pressure stirred up by Jake's army of fans. Suddenly, Jake wasn't just a disruptor, he was a full-time mental chess player. Meanwhile, Joshua's camp remained eerily calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that made fans speculate whether he was silently preparing for the biggest knockout of his career or just laughing at the entire situation. Every legend's opinion added gasoline to the fire. Some believed Joshua's fundamentals would reign supreme. Others believed Jake's chaos energy could flip the script, and nobody could agree on which version of reality was more terrifying as the noise grew louder. One retired legend finally snapped and said the entire situation was a circus with potential. Not just a circus with potential. Which might be the most accurate summary of Jake Paul's boxing career ever spoken by a human being. And in that moment, the line between legitimate sport and internet spectacle blurred so aggressively that fans started questioning whether the simulation was actually collapsing by the time the final round of predictions leaked. The energy online had transformed into full-scale hysteria. Fans felt like witnesses to an alternate universe where YouTubers fight. Olympians and boxing legends can't even agree on whether this is genius or insanity. Every new comment pushed the hype higher. Every reaction made the fight feel more unpredictable. And every leak made the story more chaotic. Because this wasn't just a prediction battle. It was a cultural crisis disguised as a boxing debate. And the world was fully hooked, waiting to see which legend would be crowned prophet and which one would be roasted for eternity. The moment celebrity reactions entered the mix, the situation evolved from a boxing debate into full-blown internet pandemonium. Rap stars, retired champions, comedians, actors, and even influencers who still don't know how to throw a jab were suddenly offering opinions like they were ringside analysts. It felt less like a sports discussion and more like a global group chat where everyone was yelling in voice messages. Twitter lit up like someone dropped a match into a pool of gasoline. And the takes were hotter than Jake Paul's hair dye schedule. Some celebrities backed Joshua like they were defending a personal hero. They called him the last guardian of heavyweight dignity, which is a dramatic way of saying they really don't want Jake Paul knocking out another semi-legend on TikTok. Others, however, claimed Jake Paul represents the new era. Jake Paul represents the new era. A phrase that made boxing purists cry, scream, and possibly consider early retirement from fandom. When one actor said Jake Paul has rewritten the rules of the fight game, traditionalists responded like he had personally insulted their grandparents. Then came the meme storm because nothing on the internet is real until it has been turned into a meme. People were posting photos of Joshua's sculpted physique next to Jake Paul's boy band energy, captioning it with things like, "When you accidentally challenge the wrong final boss." Another viral meme showed Joshua calmly shadowboxing while Jake Paul posed in sunglasses. With text reading, "One of these men trains for glory. The other trains for content." And yet, despite all the clowning, a strange undercurrent of fear was building. Because meme culture, while hilarious, has a nasty habit of making impossible outcomes feel like destiny. As the circus grew bigger, fan accounts began sharing wild conspiracy theories. One claimed Jake was secretly training with a retired heavyweight nobody has seen in years, fueling rumors of a Rocky-style training arc. Another insisted Joshua was avoiding media because he didn't want to give Jake free psychological leverage, which sounds made up, but was retweeted 50,000 times by people who love dramatizing every breath a celebrity takes. Suddenly, the fight wasn't just athletic speculation, it was mythical storytelling, with fandoms treating Jake and Joshua like characters in a live-action anime. The chaos escalated when a rumor leaked that one boxing legend planned to bet 6 figures on Jake Paul winning by knockout. Fans lost their minds instantly. Some celebrated it as a bold prediction. Others said the legend must be suffering from pandemic-era stress. Analysts began debating sanity levels instead of boxing technique. Even YouTubers known only for prank content suddenly became experts. Posting reaction videos analyzing Jake's spiritual aura. That's when you know the world has officially gone off the rails. But nothing prepared the internet for the celebrity reactions that came next. A famous rapper publicly declared Jake Paul the people's champion, which is wild considering Jake's entire brand is built on being the villain you can't stop watching. Meanwhile, a well-known comedian roasted Joshua by saying he punches like he's trying not to hurt the air. Fans immediately flooded the comments defending Joshua's honor as if he were an endangered animal. It was all chaos, but beautiful chaos, the kind that fuels viral moments and digital wars. Then came the athletes from other sports chiming in. NFL players argued Jake's power shouldn't be underestimated. Soccer stars said Joshua's composure would destroy Jake's momentum. Basketball players mocked both fighters for not being built like real athletes, which was hilarious coming from men who haven't thrown a punch since middle school lunch fights. The crossover commentary created a domino effect, turning every fan base into a battlefield out of nowhere. A leaked podcast clip surfaced featuring a legendary heavyweight claiming Joshua's downfall could be his politeness. He said, "Joshua fights with discipline. Jake fights with chaos. Chaos is unpredictable." Fans replayed that line millions of times like it was a prophecy from a wise elder in a fantasy movie. Another legend countered, saying Jake's chaos disappears when he gets punched by someone with real heavyweight power. These conflicting prophecies turned predictions into spiritual warfare. Meanwhile, Jake Paul continued doing what Jake Paul does best, fueling hysteria. He posted cryptic messages, trolling videos, training footage, and even memes of himself standing next to Joshua with captions like, "David needed one shot too." His fans exploded with confidence. Joshua's fans exploded with rage. The internet exploded with laughter, confusion, and existential dread. Nobody knew what was real anymore, and that uncertainty amplified everything, while fans argued online. Reporters claimed sources inside Joshua's camp were frustrated by how unserious the conversation had become. One insider reportedly said, "Joshua isn't playing influencer games and wants to focus on actual preparation, not internet debates." The public ate it up like a new season of reality TV. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Joshua was the stoic warrior, while Jake was the chaotic wildcard threatening to disrupt centuries of boxing hierarchy. Celebrity trainers chimed in next, predicting outcomes like they were reading horoscopes. One said Jake Paul's footwork had improved dramatically, comparing him to a baby deer learning to walk, but in a good way, apparently. Another said Joshua still carries heavyweight trauma that Jake, with his fresh mindset, could exploit. Yet another claimed Jake's conditioning still isn't elite, and that Joshua's jab alone could send him straight into a spiritual crisis. These takes were all over the place, leaving fans more confused than when they started. And just when you thought the chaos hit max level, a famous Hollywood director jumped in, saying the fight shouldn't happen because it breaks genre rules. He compared Jake Paul's career to a parody movie that accidentally became serious. That comment alone generated thousands of response videos. Nerd culture got involved. Film Twitter got involved. People who don't even watch boxing started offering cinematic analysis like they were writing. DISSERTATIONS. All the noise built a tension thicker than Joshua's biceps. Every new celebrity reaction added more fuel. Every meme added more unpredictability. Every leaked clip made fans lose their collective sanity. What started as casual predictions had spiraled into a global showdown, with cultural impact stretching far beyond the ring. Everyone had chosen a side, and both sides were convinced their fighter was destined for a historic victory or humiliating downfall. One particularly wild moment came when a comedian joked that Joshua would end Jake so fast that the ring announcer wouldn't even finish the introduction. Jake's fan base retaliated by posting videos of his knockouts, saying Joshua hasn't been hit by influencer confidence before. That phrase alone sparked a chain reaction of debates about whether delusion counts as a legitimate fighting advantage. It doesn't, but the internet acted like it does. A viral clip then surfaced where a retired champion claimed Jake Paul could reverse upset Joshua. Fancy way of saying the underdog could shatter reality. Fans debated the term like it was a newly discovered scientific principle. Some said only Jake has the audacity to attempt such a thing. Others insisted heavyweight rules don't bend for YouTubers. But everyone agreed on one thing: the unpredictability made the situation irresistibly entertaining. Throughout all this, Joshua remained silent, too silent. The kind of silence that made people wonder whether he was meditating, plotting destruction, or simply laughing at the noise. Jake, meanwhile, continued stirring the pot with every post, every joke, every smug grin, together, without even trying. They created one of the wildest pre-fight atmospheres in modern boxing history, because this wasn't just a fight anymore. It became a cultural event, a meme war, a celebrity circus, a generational clash, and whether fans loved it or hated it, everybody was watching as the noise reached a boiling point. The aftermath of this prediction storm became even more unhinged than the buildup. Boxing legends who gave bold takes were suddenly being treated like political candidates, with fans fact-checking their careers, digging up old interviews, and arguing about whether their past knockouts made them qualified to comment on Jake Paul's future. Every opinion turned into an investigation. Every prediction turned into a confession. And every legend found themselves dragged into debates they never asked to be part of. Some reputations got an unexpected glow. A few legends who backed Joshua were praised for protecting boxing's honor as if they'd just defended a sacred treasure. Others who backed Jake were called prophets who saw the shift before anyone else. And some were just roasted for daring to compare Jake Paul to actual champions. Fans were treating these predictions like gospel or blasphemy with no in-between. Meanwhile, trainers from past eras were suddenly trending again, giving interviews about the future of combat sports. Which is hilarious considering half of them haven't watched a modern fight in 10 years. Their reactions ranged from "this matchup is ridiculous" to "this might be genius." That wild split only made things more chaotic. It became impossible to tell who was analyzing technique and who was just trying to stay relevant in the algorithm. Then came the impact on fan communities. Joshua loyalists became aggressively protective, posting motivational edits with cinematic music like they were preparing for war. Jake's fans responded with unhinged confidence, posting compilation videos of him knocking people out like they were recapping the greatest anime comeback of all time. The two communities clashed non-stop, turning comment sections into emotional war zones full of paragraphs longer than dissertation introductions. But the real unraveling started when journalists began reporting how both camps quietly responded to the prediction leaks. Jake's team allegedly loved the chaos. They reportedly saw the viral attention as psychological leverage, arguing that fan noise was turning Joshua into the stiff, overly cautious version of himself, the same version critics say hesitates just long enough to be vulnerable. Whether that was true or strategic propaganda, nobody knew, but fans ate it up. Joshua's team, on the other hand, reportedly grew irritated by the circus-like attention. Sources claimed his camp wanted a training environment built on focus, not memes, TikToks, and influencer hype. That contrast alone fueled a fresh wave of debates. Some argued Joshua's seriousness made him unbeatable, while others claimed Jake's comfort and chaos gave him the upper hand. The fight had turned into a psychological chess match hosted on social media platforms. What made the aftermath even crazier were the leaked sparring rumors. One insider claimed Jake was dropping bigger sparring partners in training, which caused his fans to scream, "See, he has power." Another claimed Joshua was flattening heavyweight prospects like they were cardboard cutouts, which caused his fans to yell, "Real power, not influencer power." None of these rumors had proof, but proof didn't matter. The internet had already turned speculation into scripture. Then came the personal consequences. A legend who said Jake could win found himself being roasted so badly online that fans resurfaced videos of his old losses. Another legend who backed Joshua too aggressively was accused of being out of touch, which is ironic considering he once fought opponents who would turn today's influencers into scrambled eggs. Everyone's historical record was suddenly relevant. Everyone's career became ammunition. But the most shocking consequence came when celebrity commentators started switching sides. One rapper who initially backed Joshua suddenly flipped, saying Jake Paul has that dark horse energy. Fans called it bandwagoning. He called it intuition. Meanwhile, a famous athlete who previously hyped Jake suddenly backtracked after seeing new training clips, claiming Joshua's power just looks different. That switch caused Jake's fans to melt down, saying people were afraid to support him publicly. No one could agree on anything anymore. The tension became so absurd that even unrelated industries reacted. Fitness influencers started analyzing Jake's physique like they were studying ancient artifacts. Fashion bloggers analyzed Joshua's walkout outfits, claiming style reveals mindset. Podcast hosts who usually talk about relationships suddenly became boxing analysts. Everyone became an expert, and none of them were stopping. One particularly wild twist hit when a leaked voice note surfaced from a former world champion, claiming the fight's outcome would change the sport forever. He said if Jake wins, influencer boxing becomes mainstream. If Joshua wins, the influencer era gets humbled. That comment alone turned fans into philosophers. People were writing long essays about whether the fight represented cultural shift, generational conflict, or cosmic karma. And in the midst of the chaos, memes kept evolving. New ones showed Jake as a video game character trying to unlock the heavyweight mode. DLC. Others showed Joshua holding Jake like a toddler. Another viral meme compared Jake to a persistent Wi-Fi signal that never goes away no matter how many times you try to reset it. The creativity was insane, and the humor pushed the hype into new territory. But beneath all the madness, there was an undeniable truth. The fight changed how people saw boxing legends. Their predictions, once respected, had become entertainment content. Their expertise blended with memes, and their voices became part of a larger cultural circus. Some fans questioned whether legends were being honest or just stirring drama for relevance. Others believed they were giving genuine insight into a fight that defied logic. The public perception of Jake Paul also shifted. Whether people hated him, loved him, or hated how much they loved hating him, he had become impossible to ignore. For some fans, he represented disruption and ambition. For others, he represented chaos and disrespect. Either way, everyone agreed on one thing: he made boxing unpredictable again. Joshua's image also transformed. Instead of being the calm, disciplined heavyweight, he became the protector of traditional boxing values. Fans saw him as the last barrier between the sport's legacy and a future run by vloggers and entertainers. Suddenly, Joshua wasn't just fighting Jake Paul, he was fighting the collapse of boxing hierarchy itself. And that's where the aftermath left the world confused, divided, electrified, and desperately waiting to see which prediction would age like a prophecy and which would age like spoiled milk. Legends spoke, celebrities screamed, fans battled, trainers speculated, and the internet spiraled into sweet, beautiful madness. Because this fight had become more than boxing. It became a living storyline, a cultural collision, a viral saga where every opinion felt like a plot twist and every prediction felt like a gamble. And no matter who wins, the shockwaves will echo far beyond the ring. The world is now stuck in complete suspense, waiting to see if Jake Paul shocks the universe or if Anthony Joshua crushes the influencer revolution back into the comment section where it started. One outcome rewrites history. The other restores order, and nobody knows which one is coming. All anyone can do now is wait and keep arguing like their lives depend on it. And if you made it this far without flipping a table, congratulations! You officially survived the wildest prediction saga the boxing world has coughed up in years. But before you run off to start an argument in someone's comment section about who's winning this chaotic crossover of chaos, let me remind you of one thing. This channel is where the madness never ends. The scandals don't sleep, the leaks don't slow down, and the drama hits harder than an Anthony Joshua uppercut dipped in Jake Paul delusion. If you're sitting there with your opinions bubbling like a pot left on high heat, don't let them simmer in silence. Drop them in the comments like you're throwing jabs. Do you think Jake shocks the world? Do you think Joshua restores natural order? Do you think the boxing legends secretly want popcorn and a front row seat just like the rest of us? Tell me everything. The internet was built for chaos, so let's use it properly. And look, if you haven't smashed that like button yet, what exactly are you waiting for? Hit it like it owes you money. Hit it like Jake Paul hits post on a trolling video. Hit it like Joshua hits the heavy bag after a bad interview. Go ahead, show that like button the same energy the internet shows every time Jake announces a new fight. Make sure you subscribe to, because on this channel, the scandals drop faster than excuses after a loss.